全域高性能 2.5 リッター直列5気筒シェイプドワイドビガー 2.5 リッター誕生です。ホンダベルノから。
Hi, welcome back to my channel. So I decided to do something a little bit different. I wanted to get back into working on my project car again, and I decided to basically, bring the camera in the garage and record myself working on the engine. So I have basically, you'll see me doing 4 different things while I narrate over the video. I attempted to replace the distributor O-rings on this car. I also replaced the inner axle tubes, and then what else did I do? Oh yes, I also replaced the couple of coolant hoses on this engine, and then last but not least, put on the clutch and flywheel. So let's get started. So you can see I'm not in my most flattering outfit. I'm just wearing just sweats and a hoodie. The hoodie was actually really cool. I got it from this Formula Drift driver named Zandara Kennedy. I really liked her merch. I kind of regret wearing this hoodie during this job, but anyways, I'm taking off this distributor, and basically I have to remove the collar that's on the end of the camshaft right here. And you can see why as I zoom in. You can see someone, whoever did this job last, put some this kind of sealant around the collar, and these O-rings around it are already dry rotted, so I really wanted to remove and replace these O-rings. And you can hear from just that snap how old these O-rings are. Next was the fun part of trying to get that collar out, since this collar has 2 O-rings, the one on the front that I just removed and the one within the cam there basically. And this is the part where a simple job turned into a bit of a headache. Yep, the corner of the collar snapped. Fortunately, I was able to get the rest of the collar out, but now I'm set back a collar. And unfortunately, to get another one of these, it's not as simple as going to a junkyard and getting one, because this car is so rare. There isn't another Acura Vigor or even an Acura 2.5 TL within a 100-mile distance of my location. So unfortunately, the only solution is to basically buy another distributor. I mean, it's not that expensive, but it kind of sucks to be set back another $90, but at least the car will start running again. So before I move on to the next part of this job, I'm just gonna clean up the rest of this gunk that's inside the collar here, and just wait for the new distributor to come by. Alright, here I am about to turn the engine around, because I'm about to basically remove the differential from the engine, since the diff is bolted to the engine, and remove the inner tube that basically protects the inner axle. One thing I wanted to mention while we watched me work on my engine is I kind of forgot how to do some of this stuff. As you can see from the Honda bond on the oil pan right there, I actually did a lot of this stuff before. I did some of these steps already, but it's been a while since I worked on this engine again, so I kind of had to relearn how to take some of this stuff apart. So really quick, right there, I just unbolted a bracket that holds in the inner tube that protects the inner axle that I just pulled out. But obviously you have to take off the differential to be able to fully remove it. Okay, now we get to the differential, which is actually really easy to remove. It's only a few big bolts, one bolt on the other side of the engine, which I'll get to in a second, and the thing just kind of pops out. It's not that heavy. It's not really that complicated either. That's what I really love about this car, even though it's not very known, this drivetrain, and it's very unique. It's really simple. Once you kind of see it in pieces like this, it's really easy to take apart and to put back together. You'll see me in a second. I had to move the engine kind of back the other way to get to the last bolt, and kind of try my best to gently remove the differential from the engine. Alright, at this point I'm going to attempt to remove the inner tube. This is what I meant when I said that I kind of forgot how to do certain parts of the job, because I literally smacked the tube the way going where the inner axle came out, which was accidentally the right way, because I had to remove the bracket, and then once I remove that bracket, I can actually go back out the differential side. Little trial and error, and here we are, the inner pipe. I thought it would be cool to stick the camera around where the holes to the oil pan is. I mean, you can see the pistons, you can see the bottom of the oil pan. I don't know if it's that interesting, but you know, here it is. Here we are about to replace the O-rings on the inner tube. So there's 2 on the differential side and 1 on the axle side. So I was actually made aware of this O-ring kit from a member on the Acura Vigor Club by the name of Dylan Crumpler. I'm hoping I'm getting his name right. Sorry ahead of time. So he said that he found this kit on Harbor Freight actually, and there's also other O-ring kits out there that fit these O-rings as well. But Dylan is a very knowledgeable person on this platform. Any information that he gives about this car is extremely valuable. So thank you ahead of time. And also I'm taking inspiration from him because he's also building a race car Vigor, and he's the reason why I'm building my Vigor to go racing. So thank you again, Dylan. And as you saw, just like on the collar, these O-rings are also basically snapping as I remove them. So thank goodness this kit exists and I'm able to replace them, and I don't have to deal with a messy oil leak in the future. So what happened here was that I had a little bit of trouble putting the inner tube back in because the O-rings were still pretty new. So I took them out, put some grease on them, and still didn't want to go in. So I ended up just grabbing a big old socket and hammering it in. And then I had to go back to the other side to kind of push it back out. So I'm able to put the bracket back in. And you can see the bracket sits on like a little groove at the end of that tube. And just pulls it right up, and you can start putting back the differential. So like I said before, the diff isn't really hard to put back on. It's a little awkward to put it back on the tube, but once it sits on the tube, it kind of just plops into place, and you can just start threading in the bolts holding the diff into the engine block. But pretty self-explanatory there. Just throw the diff back on and bolt it up. So there's a couple other things that I wanted to replace that I forgot to mention. One were these coolant hoses that go from the oil filter housing back to the rest of the cooling system. I'm not going to show the entire thing. The video was like 16 minutes long, and it was because the hoses I got weren't obviously the OEM hoses. They were just hoses that I found at an AutoZone that happened to somewhat fit. They're a little bit smaller diameter, so I kind of struggled in lining them up because, you know, it was really tight. But fortunately there was this one piece of hose that had just the perfect amount of length and the perfect style, like perfect curvatures to them, so I was able to make it work. Alright, for this next part I was putting on the motor mount bracket, and actually I thought I lost the bolts for this bracket, so I thought I only had the one bolt. And I was looking through my toolbox, and I actually had bolts that fit for the bracket, and I actually already went to like a True Value to buy backup bolts. But I mean, it's not a big deal. Now I have spare hardware, but fortunately I found the right bolts to fit on for the motor mount, and here we are. Here we see I'm knocking out one more thing also, replacing the thermostat on this car because I forgot that I had an extra one. So I decided to might as well knock it out while the engine is here on the stand. But I did notice, other than the cover for it being hard to remove and it being kind of stuck on there, as you can see I'm getting in there with a screwdriver to get it off. I thought I ordered the wrong thermostat. I was comparing the two side by side, but I think it was because of the seal that was on the old one. It was kind of throwing me off. The design's a little bit different, but I'm pretty sure they work just the same. I mean, I'll know really quickly if they don't, but fortunately it's right up front, so I'm not worried about it too much. I just need to order another gasket. And so for now, I'm just throwing it back in there and just waiting for the new gasket to come. Alright, time for the fun part of getting the engine off of the stand. So this was basically a lot of trial and error for me. As you can tell, this is a little bit late in the day. I'm wearing a different hoodie. But yeah, basically this is me just taking off the bolts to get obviously the engine off the stand. And I was calling tire shops to see if they can give me one of the discarded tires just for me to lay the engine on, but legally they couldn't give me one. I didn't want to pay for a used tire or anything like that. Fortunately, I had a bunch of boxes laying around from when we moved to this house like a year ago. So I just layered a bunch of boxes on the floor, and I gave it like the perfect amount of cushion. But as you can see right now, as I'm lowering it down, obviously with the differential right there, the engine isn't going to stay upright. So I was thinking about what I could do. So instead I grabbed jack stands that I wasn't using and basically used the jack stands to prop it up against the motor mount. When I was lowering the engine down, I noticed that one jack stand wasn't enough, so I grabbed a second one and put it on the back of the bell housing of the engine so that it gives it an extra layer of support. And with the combination of boxes and the two jack stands, it was perfect. And you can see right here in the video proving that the engine stood upright and I didn't have to worry about it falling down. And last but certainly not least, the lightweight steel flywheel from Clutch Masters, along with the FX400 6-puck clutch that I ordered from them as well. I am so excited to install these. Funny enough, while I was working on the engine, I didn't think I'd actually get to the point where I actually throw the clutch and flywheel on, but I was pretty much on a roll of replacing things, and I was like, screw it, I'm already here, might as well throw it on. So here I am unboxing everything on the flywheel. Oh man, sliding the new flywheel on the back of my engine, it's so satisfying. Watch this. Yeah, sorry, right when I was going to put the flywheel on the back of my engine, my phone stopped recording because I ran out of storage. Anyways, some time has passed since that recording, so ever since then I was actually able to get a new distributor with a new collar and everything, so that's been put on there right now. The transmission is bolted back up, and now basically all I have to do is throw the drivetrain back in my car. I'm definitely going to be recording me throwing the engine back in the car. I know it's going to be a huge struggle for me, but honestly, when I mounted the camera when I was working on my engine, I actually was having a bit of a good time actually being able to do that. And not only that, but it felt good to feel motivated and excited to get this thing back up and running. And editing this quick little fun video together was actually like a little form of therapy for me, along with the therapy that I'm already taking. But you know, I did also want to include this little clip of me trying to get a stuck nut off of a exhaust manifold. You know how people say, I know a guy that can fix that? Yeah, that's me. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, I just want to say thank you very much again for watching. Like I said before, this was actually like really therapeutic for me to record myself putting this engine back together and recording and doing the editing and for this video. I actually had a lot of fun, and I actually look forward to doing this again, hopefully to the point where I actually get this thing on the track. If you like this video, please leave a like, subscribe, and let me know what else you want to see. Other than that, I hope you guys all have a good day.